Okay, so I grew up with a lot of trust issues. I mean, my dad, when I was a little baby, he used to throw me up in the air and then, well, not be there when I came down. So trust issues are a thing. One of these trust issues I have with building this Cobra is that their measurements compared to the actual measurements on the body, not always copacetic. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm looking at the book for guidance. Guidance on this book is general guidance. It says here, I don't know if you can see it, distances 3/16 gap, that's fine, there's body. 3/4 from the top, you got to find the center line of the car. Then from here it's 9 1/8, 9 1/8. That's 18 1/4 inches between the two of them. 18 1/4 inches. So in case you haven't figured out, I'm trying to put the hinges on the trunk. And I watched how some people have done it. Pete's Garage, that's a pretty good one. Problem is I don't have a child that I can shove into the trunk and get to mark the holes for me. Darn it, I wish I had a child. Wait a minute, I do have an 8-year-old. But he's autistic, so that probably wouldn't work out. There'd probably be a lawsuit somewhere, or police involved in that. Where's your child? I don't know. I locked him in the trunk of the Cobra. I haven't seen him since. That wouldn't be good. So here's the deal. Alright. So when I'm doing the measurements, I don't like them because it doesn't center up where the hinge mounts are on the truck or on the trunk lid. So I'm trying to find my tape measure and I haven't found it yet. So, oh, there it is. There's my tape measure. All right. So here's what we got. Let's see if I can do this. Center to center. Center of that. Center of that. 18 1/4. I don't know if you can see that. But then look. Do you see my hinge? It goes up and curves that way and then comes over and comes back down. And this one, that's kind of straight. That's pretty good. But that one kind of does a, I don't know. I know what you call that. And so then I'm thinking, you know, it's not the greatest weld. And this seems to be sitting at an angle. And then this is sitting at an angle. And the best part is, so it tells you to throw a bolt through there, right? To connect the two. Well, in the book, obviously, I have a 5/16 18. That's the bolt that's going through there is 5/16 18. This says 3/4 by 1.5 inches long. 3/4 inch bolt. 3/4 inch bolt. That's a 3/4 inch bolt. All right. The bolt I put in there is a 5/16 18. Doesn't matter which thread, but 5/16. What I'll probably end up doing by the time everything's said and done is probably put a shoulder bolt in there with a nylock nut that's got a 5/16 shoulder. That's probably the best way to go. But until I do that, I can use a regular bolt and mock it up. The thing is, everything's bent, everything's curved. The fiberglass doesn't measure out. What do you think of that? I mean, there's my trunk. Right? That's where the gas goes. The gas line up into here. Can you see that? That's our gas. I'm relocating my battery over here. So I need a hinge here and a hinge here. How do I do that correctly? Well, because according to that, if you go the center of the body, which is here, you can't see the mark because I've got a black marker on a black spot. Then I gotta go 9 1/4, that's centered, and 9 1/4, or 9 1/8, and center it up. That's 18 1/4 inches. So 18 1/4 inches, split it in half, 9 1/8. However, this is fiberglass. It's probably not centered. The hood, I've checked, and I already know that even the mount points are off by over 1/4 inch. So, what do I do? Well, I probably do something like Pete's Garage and mount them to the hood, make sure, or mount them to the trunk, make sure they're as straight as possible, then lock somebody in the car. Or maybe I put a piece of paper on the back wall, put something ugly and sticky, you know, like, I don't know, grease on the back of it. And then set the trunk in place and push it against the back wall, and that would mark where all my holes are, right? Or it would mark at least where the framework is. Or maybe I could mount a camera in there with the lights on, put some sort of a grid, you know, 1 2 3 4 5 kind of thing, you know, maybe some data paper, something to scale, and I could open it up, mark it, mark a couple lines on it, and when I close the trunk, what do you think of that? And then when I close the trunk, well, folks, to close the trunk, I could see where it lands on the grid, and then all I got to do is drill and mark those holes. And by the way, the thing it tells you, the book tells you to use 1/4 20s. Now I'm not using 1/4 20s to hold in a hinge. I don't know where you guys were born, but I don't use a 1/4 20 for anything. If I have it, the smallest I'll use is 5/16 18, 5/16 bolt. So that's what I did. I drilled and tapped the holes for the hinges with 5/16, and I only put 2 of them in. Why did I only put 2 of them in? To give me a leeway to move back and forth. That way it goes. Yeah, I put that one in, not that one. Same there. That way it gives me room to move them left and right a little bit to try to align them better, because I'll guarantee you, I'll put a dollar, that don't work. Because if I tighten these bolts, so they're out here, that, and that one like that, they're not square. And you see, that's 1/8 of an inch, and that's almost 3/8 of an inch difference. And that's with the same measurements on the same trunk with the same brackets that are, of course, completely the same. So there you go. So what do you do about that? Oh, minor update. So I'm trying to get my trunk in. Why am I trying to get my trunk in? Because I've already put my hood in. Now I had my hood mounted long time ago, last year. Problem is, I installed my radiator thinking I knew better, and of course, you know, 3 steps forward and 27 steps back, I ended up drilling or mounting it too far forward. So here's what I did. You can see the hinges sit pretty good here and here. I've got just enough gap now where I got about, when this is closed, I've got about a 1/4 inch gap between the hinge and the radiator. So it's sitting in a pretty good spot. You can see down there I got plenty of room. With a Spall fan, a good Spall fan has a little smaller motor, but it's still powerful. It's actually really good. I do recommend a Spall fan. Of course, you guys probably are already using them, so I'm telling you something you already know. But yeah, that also shortened up hoses, and the problem with that is when you shorten up a hose, then you change the angle of the dangle. So now my hose I had coming out and at like a 45 and up now has to come out at a 90. So there you are. So for those of you on the CMC and Street Beast Facebook page, there's an autistic kid. Him and his dad had put an ad in there to sell Cobra t-shirts and mugs and stuff like that, and you guys oh, it's a scam, it's a scam, it's a scam. And well, you know, I never went to anybody's house and checked to see whether or not the kid was autistic. You know, no big deal to me. My kid's autistic, but I'm just gonna have to believe that you guys trust me. I don't want to go through some sort of weird thing where I gotta prove he is, because that's just stupid. So I bought a bunch of shirts and a bunch of cups and stuff like that. And I gotta tell you, I didn't get scammed, because you know what I got? Oh, I got my Cobra cup. See that? Look at that. Got my Cobra cup, bunch of t-shirts, stuff like that. So, you know, sometimes, you know, it's just like everything in life. You got to take a leap of faith. Well, I took a leap of faith and it paid off. Why? Because I got my cups and my shirts. So what are we going to do now? My radiator is not mounted yet. I just have some C-clamps holding it in place. Probably gonna have to pull the body off again to get to the drill and tap the new holes, since I have to do that again. But it's in a good spot. I'm very happy with it. I've got lots of room. Can't think of anything crazy else that I've done. I did buy those sliders, the seat sliders. You know what those are? It's made in China. Just like everything else, this might as well go as far as to say that about any Cobra replica, tribute, whatever you want to call it. If you're gonna buy a Cobra and you're gonna build it in your garage, mostly mine, you know, those of you that know already know, mine is 20 years old and it wasn't even taken out of the box yet, so to speak. Somebody messed with the body. That was about it. They'd cut some holes in the firewall and done some other things, but I'm trying to find a blade for my knife. I'm probably not going to find one, because I was going to cut this box open. I've had it for a month or so, but you know how it is. You never bother to see if anything's actually in the box when you buy it. Oh, here's the knife. It's not a good knife, but you know, I don't know how to turn the camera on other than turn it around myself. How does this thing work anyway? Knife. Let's see. How these YouTubers do this. Everything one-handed. So, I'm trying to cut it, but you know how it is. These are supposed to be the one that, the whole bar. Yeah, I got fat fingers. I do repairs for a living. There it is. Okay, there it is. Hardware. Yep, Chinese. It's supposed to have one bar that goes the whole front of the seat. You see that? I got an old Ford pickup truck I drive. It's got a bar that goes the full. Ooh. Well, that's actually not bad at all. I guess the Chinese guys did some homework. I wish I could figure this out. Well, maybe you guys can see that. But yeah, got these little bars, a little thin. A little thinner than I thought they'd be, but actually, considering it's a Cobra, everything's small anyway. No room for anything. This knife, obviously, my wife's been using it. So, there you go. That's the hammer. There. Two-handed. So, I'm just trying to see. There we go. Next time I'm going to not open a box in front of you guys, because that's just stupid. But there it is. Ha-ha! So, down here, you'll have one grab handle in front of the seat. Pick it up, move the seat back and forth, let go. So you go left or right. One thing I've never liked, there you go. One thing I never liked was that, you know, you get a handle on one side, you know, down here on, say, your right-hand side, and you got to push it over, but, you know, maybe you're trying to shift at the same time because your wife moved your damn seat or something like that. But it looks like everything just fits into these little pins. They bend to size depending on the width that you run. So it's a minor adjustment, right? A little minor adjustment. All right, check this out. Look at that ship. I just saw that sitting there. Isn't that cool? It's like the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, one of those. Let's see, Christian ship, maybe? I don't know. I found it, working it out with my son. He likes ships, so we're gonna fix it. There you go, look at that. It's got like a big old sail on the front, back sail. I don't know, got a little alien, see that guy right there. And here you got Ninja. You got a pile of ninjas here. Can you tell my son's been over here messing around? Yeah, my son's allowed in the garage because he needs to learn what everything is and learn how to not kill himself with everything and power tools and all that. So, what the hell is today's lesson anyway? I don't know, maybe I was just a little bit bored and wanted to talk. So, the car starts, runs, and goes. Goes in gear, clutch works, brakes work, gas pedal works. I really like my new gas pedal. It's on another video. Probably not done very well. This car's going to have a horn, turn signals, right there in the stock. I don't have a horn button. I think it's stupid to have a dashboard button. You know why? Because you reach down. Beep, 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 beep. You know, why would you have a button over here somewhere? Like, oh, well, shit, that's how Carroll Shelby did it. Well, Carroll Shelby probably in 1964. Maybe he didn't have a horn button in the middle, but he really wanted it. Hell, I don't know. He probably had a quick release steering wheel or something. Hell, I don't know. But I want a horn button because of my wife's driving the car and she says, why, what to hit the horn and nothing happened? Well, thanks, Carol. I'm one of the last 8 people in America that still smoke. Somebody asked me about the crap on my walls. Indiana flag, because I'm a Hoosier. I don't live there now, but born, raised. We got, first, everybody's got to have a Shelby Cobra sign and a Franklin Motor Cars, Dale Earnhardt, bunch of, I think these are repops. My wife bought them for me. I was like, thank you, honey. They're repops, but I don't mind. Of course, man cave. Gotta have a man cave, or gotta have a place to call your own. We have a 3-story house, and this is the only spot where I can go and be me. Way too many rooms inside this house that I don't get to use. How many of you guys are like that, huh? Big house, not allowed to use any of it. So, over there's a grill. Can you see that behind the bicycle? See that? There's an F in that little round part. Now it's a grill for a Franklin. 1928. Approximate. Franklin was a funny thing. They didn't have so much model years as they had models, like the Franklin A or B or C or Q or D or Z or something like that. Kind of like a Stutz. But they're air-cooled. So everybody brags about, you know, the air-cooled Porsches and Corvairs and stuff like that, which, by the way, are badass. Um, Franklin did it first. Franklin, the grill was fake. It looked like a radiator. Looks just like a radiator, but it's not. It's just a place for air to go in. Just a grill. But up there I got my gauges so I don't break them. Like somebody the other day, they mentioned that they had printed off their gauges on paper and cut them out. Shit, that's a good idea. I could have done that. Nah, I wouldn't have done that. That's a lot of work. But I like the people that look forward, look ahead, and try to do stuff like that. I always forget. I get in a hurry. I got very limited time. Do you guys have limited time? I have limited time. You know, you work a lot. You get the weekends off. You get home, all you want to do is work on your car, but, you know, there's stuff you got to do. You know, honeydews. Like tonight, you know, a few hours from now, I got to go take a shower. Why? Because I got to go see Lewis Black. You know, comedian, stand-up comedian. If you don't know who he is, Google him. He's funnier than shit. My wife and I are going to go see him again tonight. We both saw him independently, like, I don't know, 10 years ago. We used to always go to concerts together. Jay Leno, that's a great guy to see in stand-up comedy. But, yeah. Meanwhile, my 5 minutes here and my 10 minutes there on the Cobra kind of paid off today, but I'm going to work on the car tomorrow. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to get a lot done tomorrow, I hope. Not really sure how I feel about how I'm going to figure out this trunk thing. Because if I can't lock my kid up in it, then I'm going to have to maybe cover that in something white and draw lines on it where the hinges are supposed to be. Ooh, shit, there's an idea. I'll cover it in white paper. I'll draw on it exactly where the hinges are supposed to be according to the book. I'll put my phone in there and I'll film me putting the trunk in. Now tighten up those bolts so they're sitting flat like this. So when I push it in there, set it down, push it in, we'll see how they line up. If it's close, but it's not going to be. You saw how bent that rod is. And I don't know if it's worth bending the rod back and squaring it. I don't know. I'll probably will. Or I'll cut it out, make it room, waller it out, give it room so it doesn't bind up. But I'm using the hydraulic shocks. I'm not using those. I'm going to put the hydraulics in there, you know. Just like this hood. Yeah, this hood, I don't have a thing in it yet, but I got hydraulic lift rods here somewhere. When I redid I have a fiberglass hood on my pickup truck. And when I redid the shocks on it, I kept the extras, the old ones, because they're worn out. I'm going to use those for mock-up. Try to figure it out. See that right there? That's a 90cc Yamaha four-wheeler. My son never rides, so it sits out there. That's fine. Doesn't bother me a bit. Tried to mow the lawn the other day. It didn't mow well. Wife bought me an electric lawnmower because, you know, save the environment, you know. Lithium batteries, you know, because gasoline is a pollutant. Now, I appreciate the fact that she got me an electric lawnmower, and it would be nice not to store a can of gas in the garage, but at the same time, it just doesn't have the power, you know, because, you know, down here, you know, we water and we got sprinkler system and all that, so it gets pretty thick and pretty tall pretty quick here in North Carolina. You know, your grass is either burn out or it really flourishes if you have water on it. And if you go more than, you know, 7 days, God forbid you ever go, you know, 7 or 8 or 9 days between mows, then it's just bogs it. So I got to mow it twice, and then I run out of battery, and then I got to charge it up. So not only do I have to mow Saturday, I got to wait till Sunday when the batteries are charged and turn around. That's right, mow it again. but that's fine. We got some sort of hurricane coming up out of Florida. It's in Georgia today. It was supposed to come through here, I don't know, today or last night. I don't know. Not really paying attention to that either. So, what'd I get done on the Cobra? Really done? Nothing's done. Not a damn thing. I still haven't tightened the bolts to the transmission center brace. I don't know. Is there anything I've done? I still got to set it all the way down flat on the ground, get the weight on the car, so I can tighten up the bushings in the rear end. Right, and the suspension bushings, because you don't want to tighten them till you get it down on the ground. Why? Because you don't want them moving out of lock. They're polyurethane. You don't want to screw that up. Then I probably got to tear it apart and grease them and put it back together anyway. So, done? Are you ever done? Those people are always saying that what you should do is plan something like, today I'm going to do the rear end. And so you do it, and you do all of it, and you get it finished. Who the hell's got time to do that? I can't do a whole thing. Everything takes 8 hours. Every damn thing in this car takes steering column, 8 hours, right? Radiator, 16 hours. Cutting a damn hole for the shifter, that took 8 hours. Planning and measuring and doing it wrong 8 times. Then I cut the hole too damn big. Actually, the hole's already there from the guy that owned it before me, who did it 20 years ago, but never finished the car. I don't know. Don't know if I should even put this video out there. Maybe I'm just rambling and bambling. But I gotta tell you, I sure do like those pedals. I like the Willwood left and right, the clutch and brake. They're fully adjustable. And that's pretty cool. But that gas pedal, the little tip has a little spring in it, so it's a little toe spring. And then it's not, I don't know, it's neat. If you don't like neat shit, then, well, you know where you can go. Oh, I did something completely stupid. You guys are gonna love this. Wait a minute, let me find it. I bought it. I bought a cable. Did I mention this already? Yeah, I lost it already. I'm in a one-car garage and I lose everything. But I bought a cable and it locks. The cable locks. Oh, there it is. Can you see that? Huh? Part numbers? No, I don't know what that is. It's a Dorman, of course, so it's shit, just like everything else that you can buy now for a car. But the handle is a T handle. You see that? And on the end of the handle, you can't see through the plastic, but it says lock. Twist it to the right and it locks. So what's that going to do? Oh, I'm going to put it somewhere here on the lower center dash. Down here, I'm going to build some sort of a console. That way I can put in a marine radio and a couple other things. But what's going to do, it's going to run through the firewall. It's going to run through here and here. So what's going to happen is, when I go to give it gas, and I'm doing 70 mile an hour down the interstate because I'm driving all the way to Indiana, I can pull that little choke lever out and lock it, take my foot off the pedal and rest my damn foot for a minute. Now, it's nothing that you want to do in traffic. It's not like regular cruise control. All right, this is completely and utterly stupid. But being able to just lock it for a minute, shake your leg out, maybe pull the wallet out from underneath your ass because you got in the car leaving your wallet in your pants, and now your hip and your ass hurts because you're 52 years old and never thought to take care of yourself. But yeah, 5 minutes down the road on an open highway with a little bit of, let your foot rest. That's some shit. That's some shit. You guys won't be doing that with those 427 FE side oilers. Nah. Only a hillbilly like me that used a 4.6. Which, by the way, damn good motor. If you saw the last video, you see everything's on top. You open up the hood, bam. I can change the plugs. bam, I can change a coil. Bam, I can test, you know, my my coils. I could test everything, you know, the throttle return, anything happens, it's right there on top. And the whole front of the motor's open, right? So it should be about everything. Well, I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, share, subscribe, or don't, because I'm not that interesting.